Hey everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today I'm watching Game Theory, FNAF Don't Trust Gregory. This was suggested, well, it was suggested after the last film theory, The Secret of the Walton Files, by Ocean the Gacha Alpha Dragon. I was a bit reluctant to even do this one since I wanted to wait until I get FNAF Security Breach before doing anything related to FNAF Security Breach or anything like that. But my gacha channel, someone asked about the whole ending stuff and people kept commenting on it, how I should do it and all that. And I should react to it, but so yeah, I'm spoiling myself. But I think it doesn't matter since as long as I don't look into the gameplay. So yeah, there's that. Now I did promise I would say what I thought about the concept of the game, but I will say that at the end of this theory. So I hope you all enjoy this, and if you did, be sure to hit the like button down below so that you can see more of this reaction videos. Also be sure to leave it in the comments down below saying and asking what you want me to react to next. I am free to do all of that. By the time I do this, when this is posted up, it's gonna be like okay, I'm joking there. What I meant to say is that the time this is uploaded, I will have another reaction video uploaded. These two will probably be uploaded on the same day. So, but with that said, I hope you all enjoy. Be sure to hit the like button. Leave a comment down below to ask and request what type of reaction video you want me to do next. Hit the subscribe button to be a part of the channel, show your support, and all that good stuff. Also be sure to hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out, because there are some more videos coming up and I do not think you want to miss them. So with that said, let's begin.
After years of waiting, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach has finally launched, and with it, we now have a whole load of mysteries to discuss. What's the deal with the Vanny Therapy tapes? Why is this room from sister location in the Pizzaplex? Who is the best animatronic, and why is it Music Man? There are a lot of things to solve in this massive game, as lore hides behind every pirate poster and inside every arcade cabinet.
I think I jinxed myself.
Today goes to the heart of this game, addressing the one character that we spend a lot of time with, but don't actually see all that much. And that's our main character of Security Breach, Gregory. Yep, in a franchise full of dead kids, I want to focus on the first ever living child we've seen in the main story of the games. Except for in the Fruity Maze minigame, but we all know that she ends up dead. Who is Gregory? What is Gregory? And why is he such a cold-hearted savage to Roxy and the rest of the animatronic gang?
I'm so mad that you're driving without my permission! Oh my god!
Thing?
Gregory is brutal!
My friends, the answers to those questions will recontextualize everything that you thought you knew about this series. So let's begin. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that can't help but stuff its face with FNAF lore like Chica stuffs her face with pizza and garbage. I guess at this point it kind of applies to us too. Anyway, if you want to stuff your YouTube feed with FNAF videos, then hit that subscribe button right now, because today starts what I expect to be a 3-part series into the many unsolved mysteries of Security Breach. I mean, on the surface, the game seems pretty self-explanatory, right? Survive being trapped in a mall for one night. Looks like the new team forgot to read the title of the franchise. But that's nothing, that's easy. Once you start looking into secret rooms, secret tapes, secret endings, secret minigames, and actually bother to read all the emails and item descriptions, you learn that there is a lot more here. Stuff that looks both backwards at the series that came before and forwards into what is coming next. Stuff that, quite frankly, I'm still working on piecing together. This is a big game with lots of places to hide things. But today, I want to focus on a mystery that I do feel like I have a pretty solid handle on. The relationship between Gregory and Glamrock Freddy. What's the deal with this random kid, and why is a killer animatronic suddenly trying to help him? Like, seriously, the game kicks off with this incredible cutscene. Everyone is living their best 80s-tastic lives on stage before Freddy suddenly glitches out and smash cut to Gregory just being there, I guess. It is one of the weirdest, most jarring intros to a game ever. And then from that point forward, we're just expected to assume that everything is perfectly normal, no explanations necessary. So I'm here to give you that explanation, because
very suspicious. I have not played this game, and just having that described just puts a lot of red flags.
I strongly suspect that this boy is not a boy, and this robot is not a robot, and that the story of their relationship is one that's trying to make amends for one of the earliest and most pivotal points from this entire franchise. To begin, let's establish what we do know about Gregory in order to piece together the rest. So, what does the game offer us in terms of his backstory? Nothing. First and foremost, we know that he's pretty much off the radar. At the start of the game, Freddy does a quick scan only to realize
your guest profile is unknown to me.
Similarly, when security guard Vanessa is chatting it up with Freddy, we hear this part of their conversation.
That is great news. He can be returned to his parents.
He can't. Turns out, there's no record of him.
Clearly, Gregory is not a guest at the Pizzaplex. It also seems like he has nowhere else to go. In the game's bad ending, unlocked by just leaving the building at 6 a.m., we see Gregory winding up in an alleyway sleeping in a cardboard box. He appears to be homeless. He's an orphan. This then explains a few other things that we see around the Pizzaplex. In a couple of hidden locations around the building, we find little dens that are filled with drawings, plushies, and beds. The most notable one being the one behind the daycare center. Gregory seems to be living inside the Pizzaplex, which would explain his lack of a guest pass. We can't even be sure that his name is Gregory. In the game's opening scene, Gregory has no issues speaking to Freddy.
Will you shut up?
Who said that?
I did.
However, once Freddy asks him for his name, he stutters.
I'm Gregory.
Why would he stutter on his name when he was clearly fine answering everything else just seconds before? So, what? Is that it? Gregory's just some homeless kid that sets up shop in the Pizzaplex and happens to get wrapped up in Afton and Vanny's plans? Yeah, right. Of course not. Nothing in this franchise is ever an accident.
Makes sense.
Notice anything familiar? Dark eyes, brown hair with a piece fallen between his eyes, shorts, a shirt with 2 stripes across the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, Gregory is none other than the crying child. Don't believe me? Early on, we get this weird
colors are reversed though.
He stops what he's doing and says this.
I feel you are broken.
We all know that the language in this franchise is never chosen by accident. Everything is meticulously crafted. So is it a coincidence then that the word broken is only used one other time in the FNAF series to describe a child? That iconic FNAF 4 clip with crying child and golden bear. You're broken. We're still your friends. I will put you back together. The fact that both crying child and Gregory look alike and are considered to be broken screams of a connection existing between these two. Him being the crying child would also explain why he has nowhere else to go. His dad is an undead zombie living inside a yellow bunny suit, and his mom is MIA. There's also lines
I wonder if we'll ever get anything about her.
Follow me. Your family is looking for you. Let me take you to your parents.
On one hand, this just sounds like Chica spouting out some generic security protocol.
No, her voice seems off when she mentions
Gregory
parents.
is the crying child, Chica's lines here take on a whole new meaning, because she is quite literally bringing him to his family, his father living in the basement, William Afton. But obviously there's one big problem with this, one that I'm sure all of you are screaming at your monitors or typing aggressively down in the comments. Crying child is dead. He died in in FNAF 4 when his older brother Michael picked him up to be chomped. And not only did he
very
die,
dead.
his soul then went on to be one of the two spirits possessing Golden Freddy, the other being the vengeful spirit Cassidy, before he was finally put to rest by the puppet in the happiest day ending of FNAF 3. This kid is well and truly gone.
But the rest, name one character in this series that ever went to rest after being freed. The originals are still tangled up as the Funtime animatronics, except Circus Baby. Charlie was still the puppet. She survived. Heck, even Cassie survived and became a part of Molten Freddy. I'm just gonna call him Molten Freddy. It's Molten Freddy. They're in Molten Freddy. 5 are now Molten Freddy. So I highly doubt he would actually just and go like stay dead and all that. Afton didn't stay dead. The children haven't stayed dead. Elizabeth hasn't stayed dead. So I don't believe he would actually just stay dead.
He is removed from the franchise. He is one of the few cards that are officially off the lore table. So why then do I dare invoke his name here? Because Gregory is a robot.
Isn't his name Evan now?
Version of the crying child. Flame shields activate because it's time for everyone's favorite segment. MatPat uses the lore from multiple FNAF books to try and explain parts of the game that don't make sense. I'll try to make this as quick and painless for all of us as possible. In the books, children having tragic premature deaths and then being rebuilt as robots by their grieving fathers is something that happens a lot. Like, if I had a nickel for every time this plot line showed up, I'd have like 3 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened 3 times. In the original...
That theme has occurred a lot within the trilogy. The Twisted Ones, the Fourth Closet, Silver Eyes. I should really get on to getting those books. I mean, I read the stuff online, but still.
Whole trilogy, the whole big twist of that was that Charlie, daughter of Henry Emily, died as a kid, and that her father put her back together by building robotic versions of her, each one representing a different stage of her growing up development. Then again, in Fazbear Fright, the
those teen years must have been awkward.
Who is strongly implied to have been built as a replacement daughter, as well as Dr. Telbert, who developed Remnant as a way to preserve his sick and dying daughter. And all of this is without me even going into the numerous stories where children get swapped out for robots and or Fazgoo, which, once it has your DNA, basically creates a clone of you. If that's the future of the franchise, we're going down some weird paths, my friends. Anyway, to summarize, there's evidence in the wider canon that FNAF 4's lines about the crying child being broken and needing to be put back together were meant to be much more literal than any of us first suspected. But we don't even have to go that far. Within Security Breach itself, there is plenty of evidence to suggest that Gregory isn't exactly what he seems. When Vanny spots you and starts to get closer, your vision gets a CRT effect, basically the horizontal lines that old TV monitors used to get. And it's worth remembering that since this is a first-person game, that is representing your vision. So why are your eyes suddenly behaving like cameras on the fritz? Unless, you know, they are cameras on the fritz. Later in the game, once we defeat Roxanne Wolf, we can take out her eyes and upgrade Freddy. Our Fazwatch tells us that, quote, Roxy sees things differently than others. Sometimes she'll stare and talk to the other bots through walls. She's able to see things that others can't, which allows us to see collectibles like secret CDs. In a way, she has a sort of X-ray vision, which is why when you first install him into Freddy, his comment really stands out.
How are your new eyes?
I am having a hard time adjusting. You look different to me.
It's almost like he was seeing Gregory as a normal child, but now that he has these new eyes, he's able to see through Gregory's skin and reveal something that he wasn't expecting, like, say, an animatronic endoskeleton. Also, Gregory can be inside Freddy when he's inside the charging stations, which on its own feels weird. Like, I kinda expected you to hop out and leave him to charge, but nope, we pilot him inside of it and then sit there as he charges. Or could it be that those charging stations are as much for us as they are for him? Remember that secret den behind the daycare where we assumed Gregory Gregory's living, there's a strange amount of decommissioned and what appear to be salvaged security robots.
Oh yeah,
Maybe for a kid who
they have
needs a robotic
batteries, if I'm
upgrade. The fact that
correct.
there's no record of Gregory
Foxy
would
has,
also
like,
make
multiple
sense. If he's
ones,
an
so it wouldn't
animatronic, there
surprise me,
wouldn't be
actually,
records
that
of
he
him
needs
because he's not
batteries.
technically a human. It would also explain why Gregory has no parents. But maybe the biggest point of evidence comes from the very beginning of the game, where during the opening cutscene we see Freddy glitch out. This sets him on a course of being good for the rest of the game. But what causes that glitch to happen in the first place? Well, by going frame by frame, we can see that there's a security threat on the loose, and it looks to be a small child. What? It's Gregory. It has to be. Gregory is the threat here, a robot that poses a threat to Freddy's programming. But why? How? What would make sense about that? Well, to understand that connection, it's time to put a pin in Gregory and turn our attention over to Freddy. If you unlock the game's final secret ending, you end up going below the Pizzaplex, only to discover a former Freddy Fazbear location, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. If that name doesn't mean anything to you, it shouldn't, really. Most of the restaurants in the series go unnamed. But while the name might not mean anything,
Yes,
the
that's true.
layout should be a familiar one. One large rectangular stage with lights on the trim and big speakers on either side, and a smaller semicircle stage right next to it. It's from FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator. Notice the stools that are placed right in front, the checkered floor.
actually really
We
cool
even
to see
have
the
purple striped
FNAF 6
tablecloths and
location.
blue, green, and red plates, exactly like we saw in Pizzeria Simulator. As a
I guess a kind of worldwide view. You never usually expect it. Just go to the location, just deal with your high pixel quality, small square room vision, or whatever, and that's it, really. Nothing else. That's it. Game
refresher,
over.
this is the
Bye.
location that Henry lured all of the roaming animatronics to in order to burn them to the ground one final time.
Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend.
And this is it, here. Seems
Yeah, you
like
kinda
Henry's
failed.
plan didn't quite work as expected. We
You
still see
trash.
pretty much everyone that he tried to torch away, and they're all alive and well and thriving underground. Springtrap is there, Molten Freddy is there as this big black blob, and if you look inside that blob, you can even see Baby. And heck, even
so
the
that's the
puppet
blob.
kinda lessens the impact of that Savage Henry speech from FNAF 6, but whatever. Anyway, the reason I bring this up, outside of it giving me a chance to
I didn't
remind
even
everyone that I
think them
totally
to have
called
that.
something like this happening at the end of the last theory from a year ago, is that one character is notably absent.
The only thing I can say, at least we didn't get a trash amalgamation. I am just thankful for that. And if you have seen my gotcha video I made a few months back, well, not a few months, almost a year, then you would note that I made a video where there was a... Okay, to describe that video, I made it after what I think the ending of what Security Breach would be like. I figured, oh no, the place will burn down. Because it's like, every time.
Michael Afton, who we're reasonably sure was the guard working at the FNAF 6 location and the one who helped to burn it down.
And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be.
After being scooped, turning purple, and trying to undo his family's sins location by location, he went down with the ship and burned alongside his father and sister. Which means that presumably he should be here somewhere. And yet he's not. Unless, of course, he's taken on a new form. Say perhaps Glamrock Freddy. We know for a fact that Freddy's been down here based on some of the lines that he dropped during the finale.
I can see it working.
What this is. I have been here before. She brought me here. I had no choice. Now I have a choice. I have changed. My friends are here. They are so angry, confused, but I can protect you.
So he's in a place where he can get possessed. We also hear that Freddy isn't acting like his normal self, saying,
I am not me.
And in yet another ending, the fire ending, Freddy is more than prepared to set the place ablaze, much like Michael Afton did to Fazbear Frights at the end of FNAF 3. I guess old habits die hard. And nothing says that clearer than the replica of Mike's room from Sister Location that's hiding inside the Pizzaplex. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, hidden inside the mall is the exact replica of Mike's living room from Sister Location, down to the TV, lamp, and basket of exotic butters.
Exotic.
But
Exotic.
But here's the kicker. Over on Mike's wall is a coded
It
message
is almost
that was solved
exactly
through
like
an
it.
incredible team effort from Dawko and the rest of the FNAF subreddit. It reads as follows, quote, "Break and mend, I built the breath. They hunt now, drawn to life. Not real, still me. And frit and fraught with thought and zest, and guessed no blunt woes. Dodge, duck, flash, shoot, crawl, run, crush the vile band. Cry not, try not, do not hold out hope. Your life, your aim will save those with soul." I feel like this is some sort of a poetry reading. Snaps, everyone. Get
Sorry, ad.
snaps.
It was an
man,
ad.
bongos. Alright, basically this is just a bunch of fancy talk, all relating to
Yeah, but
Mike's
does sound like
personal
something
journey.
from,
The first line is all about
you know,
breaking and repairing things,
Poetry
and in
Club
doing
thing.
that, creating new life. In other words, Ennard and Baby. The rest is all about his commitment to try and stop the evil animatronics and try to save any of them with a soul left in their bodies. Now,
Obviously.
does the presence of this room and poem necessarily mean that Mike is Freddy? No. But I do think it's telling that we're reminded of Mike's commitment to save everyone inside of a room that you're required to find alone in the dark, i.e. without Glamrock Freddy hovering over your shoulders. Heck, during the finale we even get this line from Glamrock Freddy.
my friends are here. They're so angry, confused.
He's talking about Molten Freddy, the spirits trapped inside of the blob. It's very possible that those
Yeah, makes
were
sense.
indeed his friends captured and killed back in the day. Maybe William himself struck back against the kids that had bullied his youngest son, and now some of their spirits are trapped below the surface as part of the blob in this abandoned restaurant. Or maybe that's why Gregory is so brutal to all of these animatronics at the end of each boss battle. They killed him back in 1983, and now it's his turn to show the bullies no mercy by launching a go-kart at their face and ripping out their eyeballs. And meanwhile, Freddy is sad because they are quite literally his friends from when they were alive. But to me, honestly, the biggest connection points between Mike and Glamrock Freddy are thematic. Their narrative. Mike has been moving to location after location to try and undo his father's horrible work. This would just be a continuation of that story,
I can
as
see
both
it.
Aftons return post-fire. And more importantly, it also completes the arc of the crying child and his older brother. Since accidentally killing his brother in FNAF 4, Michael's been trying to make amends. This would be quite literally their grand reunion. An older brother finally able to protect and defend his younger sibling in a way that he failed to earlier in their lives. This is also why Freddy's programming would glitch out after he encounters Gregory in the opening cutscene. The soul of Mike, buried deep in Freddy's code, comes through upon sensing his brother again. It hotwires the system so that Michael Afton, in the body of Freddy, can defend his kid brother. And the Afton story doesn't stop there either. In part of the Pizzaplex, we find a family dinner scene made up of decommissioned staff robots. A father, a mother that kind of looks like Ballora, a daughter with rosy cheeks and orange pigtails, a
Proves
son,
that
and one with
Ballora
its head
was
missing,
more
the
after
child
the
whose head
wife.
was bitten off in 1983. This is very clearly the Afton family. There is no doubt about that. The story continues in this game. In fact, I expect that's why the Save Vanny ending here is so important. If you manage to find and complete all the Princess Quest arcade cabinets hidden throughout the Pizzaplex, you get an ending where we are able to save Vanny from the control of Glitchtrap. This is something that we predicted would be possible literally a year ago in a theory, but I bring this up not to pat myself on the back, but rather to call out the final moment of this ending, where we see Gregory, Freddy, and Vanny all sitting together on a hill. A hill that I should point out is oddly reminiscent of the FNAF 6 Gravestone Hill. It feels meaningful, like all these characters have some sort of history. Why would Vanny be there otherwise? Unless
She was
this is
possessed
meant to be
by-
the crying child, Michael, and
Afton.
maybe even Elizabeth, the Afton children, the three
What?
kids who literally had their lives stolen by the evil deeds of their father,
No.
finally reunited, finally able to share a moment of peace on
Michael?
this hill. After all, Vanessa
That
does
makes
have
sense.
green eyes and blonde hair, just like someone else that we know from the series, but that's probably a theory that's best saved for another day. Long story short here, Gregory isn't just any kid.
I
He's
may
not
not
just the crying
have
child
played the
either.
game
He's
or
the
anything,
rebuilt
but I highly
version of
doubt
the crying
that would be the
child, an
case
animatronic designed to fill the
for
void left by the death of
other
Afton's youngest son,
reasons, but
literally
no.
put back together piece by piece. And Mike, meanwhile, is also back, glammed out this time, continuing to make amends for his past by reuniting with the brother that he accidentally
Gregory
killed as a
and
kid and protecting him in a way that he never could before. Which
Rockstar
then leads
Freddy?
us to the
Yeah, that
question,
would make
who's
sense.
Fanny? How does she fit into all this? Why does she fit into all this? And why does Robot Gregory glitch out each and every time she gets close? That, my theorists, will have to wait for the next episode, because this episode's running along and honestly I need more time to think through the answers. So in the meantime, theorists, remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss how all these clues fit together. You're not going to want to miss that next episode, mostly because, you know, if you do, the FNAF lore will no longer make any sense to you whatsoever. Plus, hitting the subscribe button's free, and let's be honest, at this point, you owe it to yourself to see how it all plays out. But for now, remember, it's all just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching.
I can believe everything in this video. The Fanny part, no, I can't just believe that I know it. Then again, I haven't played the game, so... Alright. This has been really informative. Even though I technically don't want to be alerted about this. Alright. To begin, I will admit that the Gregory and Rockstar Freddy thing actually does leave more questions than it should. I think out of every character in this game, from what I saw from the trailers, they are the most intriguing ones, considering the fact that through the trailers I saw that the other animatronics would attack or do something else that would make them opposed and against Gregory. Yet here we are with this. Being described at the beginning, it does leave more questions. And even though it answers some stuff, it also leaves more questions. Like, for example, if Gregory was the crying child, otherwise known as Evan, I'm pretty sure that's his name. People keep calling him that, so... might as well. But if he is the crying child, how did he get there? Because the only way that would work is if it was a child-like robotic body. Because if I remember right in the books, each body was supposed to go into a box so that the next line would just, you know, be born, be there, and all that. Like, he now has to go to his teen, so lock the robotic body up, bury it, and have the teen body ready and going out. So that would leave some questions. If that body was in the box, then that says a lot about this. And I'm not sure if it's here in a positive or negative fashion. Now, Rockstar Freddy being Michael Afton? I mean, he survived being scooped and energy being a part of his body and just ejecting out of him. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that some mechanical parts were still in his body, and while everything else burned and got destroyed, the mechanical parts were left, and those mechanical parts were used to make Rockstar Freddy. So I don't see why it couldn't be true, but that's putting a lot of what ifs into it. And a lot of maybes out as well, but more maybes than what if. Now, Vanny being Elizabeth, I find the hardest thing to believe. I kind of figured that she would be a redhead. No offense to anything else, but I just figured she would be like a redhead. Since her hair looks reddish orange to me, more orange than anything else, so I figured, must be a redhead. At least a form of a redhead, I don't know. I never actually met a lot of redheads in my life, so I can't really say. Then again, I haven't met a lot of blondes either. It's usually black, white, gray, brown. Huh. I've seen almost every other hair color, but anyway. The whole Vanessa being Elizabeth Afton is very, very much of a stretch. One thing for sure is Vanessa got a job before all of this, so that must mean they like double check her background and everything. And went through everything regarding her, probably blood tests, physicals, whatever, degrees and all that. This means that Vanessa has a file, a legitimate government file. She's a part of the police department file. She's a part of all of a living file. If she was Elizabeth, that would mean she would be a robot. Like Gregory is supposedly be, even though I'm still curious how he got into the pizzeria, since that would mean that his robotic body was stuck in the FNAF 6 location that burned, so his soul can be free as well, but didn't. And he managed to climb out and just stayed at the new location. So that doesn't really leave a lot of explanations there. But yeah, the whole Vanessa thing, it makes no sense, no matter how much you say it. I highly doubt it's Elizabeth Afton, unless evidence is given. Unless she did like a William Afton and planted a small part of herself into Vanessa so she could be hot wiring her body here and there. Other than that, I highly doubt Elizabeth is Vanny, or Vanessa, or whatever name we want to go by. Plus, there was the one ending where there was two Vanessas, so Yeah. The crying child and Michael Afton part, yeah, I would believe that. I fully would believe that. It makes a lot of sense and everything. Now, the Elizabeth Afton? No. No. I just don't see it happening. It's more confusing now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm trying to think what could be a reason, but I haven't played the game, so yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it for the reaction video. Now, I promised at the beginning that I would discuss a certain part of my gacha video in my other channel. I will also put that in the link down below, and the link to this video, and the channel down below in the description. So be sure to click on those to see the original video, see more content provided by Game Theory. Love their videos. So I think you should check that out and show them some love and support, because they went through the ins and out of this very game just to give us a amazing theory. Now, gotcha. My take on which ending I think is true. Well, to me, I have only seen the trailers. I haven't seen the full depths of the game itself, but then there was the one game theory I did, and it involved those cliffs shown and showing all these different characters that are supposed to be there, all these different things that were supposed to be in this game, and when they mentioned the one thing which is Molded Freddy, and when they mentioned the one thing about Golden Freddy, I mean not Golden Freddy, Molten Freddy, well, and when I saw all the endings, I kind of figured that the true ending must be the ending that involves all of these events occurring. And the only ending I've seen that has all of these things available, burning the place down, which is something I always believed would happen when it came to the game. So, in my honesty, I think the Afton ending is the true ending. Since in one of the trailers, it involved a clawed hand that is exactly the same to the design to William Afton's new form of Springtrap. So, yeah. And not to mention, we got everything checked off when it came to the Afton ending. So, in all honesty, it seems like the most correct ending to me. Furthermore, it also keeps in touch with the game, it's the intro and the game itself. I noticed that with each ending there was like comics and all that, It just seems like more of a what if kind of thing. And the true ending is the Afton ending, since they burned the place down and everything. Of course, there was also the Fanny part, but that's more of a maybe. I do truly believe that it's the Afton ending, since I wouldn't believe that neither Gregory nor Rockstar Freddy would leave the place the way it is. If Rockstar Freddy is partially Michael Afton, then he would gladly burn the place down. If it meant destroying it all once and for all. Though I highly doubt that would work, considering the fact that William survived 3 fires this time, and now he's AI and animatronic. So we now have 2 Aftons going around all crazy. Not fun, not good, not fun, not anything like that. It's gonna be good. And considering the fact that they couldn't destroy him the first 2 times, I highly doubt they'll be able to destroy him this time. If they did, they probably would just bury him to the point that he can't just get up. And he actually does burn, but who knows? Also, I figured that ending is more interesting considering the fact that it doesn't involve Vanny. All the other endings involve Vanny in some way, shape, or form. The Afton ending is the only ending that doesn't involve Vanny whatsoever. So, with that said, I figured that one would be the most correct since it actually does speak more in depth of what could happen in the future. She escapes and tries to get her revenge. That's it. Gregory and Freddy try to stop her, make it a regular deal. There we go. Game. We get a new sequel, we get a new game, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I can't see anything else being the case about this whole thing. It's just that that ending makes the most sense and the most logical point of the true ending. Then again, I could be wrong, but yeah. Other than that, I have nothing else that I think I should go over. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button down below. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below once more to leave any suggested videos you think I should react to, and so on and so forth. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button to be a part of the channel, support the channel, and all that other good stuff, because all this motivates me to make more videos for you all to enjoy. Also, be sure to hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out, because more videos are coming, and some of them are something you don't want to miss. So with that said, I hope you all enjoy, and I will see you all next time. Bye!